Is TikTok clout a disease? This is the perfect case of when someone shows you who they truly are, believe them.
And then we walked over to the crematorium. The dust was a paid actor. Okay, that was not funny. Okay, maybe a little funny.
When you visit a place like Dachau, you have a responsibility to treat it with respect. This is history. It is not a joke. Please do not support content creators like this.
I'm not a big creator, so I don't have a lot of media training, so I simply just want to come on here and apologize.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Selena. Today we have a really annoying video today and it's kind of serious, so y'all saw the trigger warning, and if that is not something that would be helpful listening to you in your journey, then please click off and check another one of my videos out. Otherwise, I hope you have a good day. Let's dive right into it. I'm going to try to make shorter videos, so this is going to be a shorter video. So, not too long ago, there's this TikTok influencer that was making fun of folks at concentration camps, the Holocaust, was visiting the Dachau concentration camp. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. She made a voiceover, edited it, and was very rude and was making fun of Holocaust survivors and victims and just making fun of the whole situation. Check this out.
There's the fence that kept them in, and then we walked over to the crematorium. The dust was a paid actor. Okay, that was not funny. Okay, maybe a little funny. Okay, I'm not trying to be funny. Here is the shower room.
I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's M-E-I-L-E, Meile. But anyways, she has her own platform. She and her husband also have their own platform. I think this video has to be added to a series of, is TikTok clout a disease? Or is clout a disease? Because I think this lady has it. And ironically, after she posted that, she did not post any more on her platform on TikTok or her and her husband's platform on TikTok. And so this just goes to show you that doing whatever you can for views, trying to be funny by making fun of other people, trying to do whatever to see what sticks, and going outside of your morals or showing us who you really are is dangerous. And there's consequences to it. But you know what? It's a good thing that she showed us who she really is. Now, before we dive into responding to her concentration camp video, I did want to highlight some past videos of hers where it looks like she's trying to be relatable, talking about, oh, this is how you can tell what a narcissist is.
I just saw this video that said if you want to know the difference between a victim and a narcissist, is that the victim will only share their story and nothing more. They will not try and prove their point, to try and get their point across and try and get people on their side. They're always going to want to get people on their side, have more and more people believe them, and look innocent to the public eye, because that's all they care about, is what other people see and like what the public sees, versus the victim, who will just most likely either just want to heal in peace, have nothing to do with it, or just share their story in peace to get their story out, and that's it. Like, narcissists want the world to see them innocent.
You cannot be in a relationship with someone who is not a believer.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but you cannot be in a relationship with a non-believer as a believer.
And she has a video from 3 months ago saying that she's offended that someone was making fun of her culture and where she used to live.
I guess a lot of people don't know that I used to live in Ukraine and lived there for 12 years of my life. So actually I've lived in overseas in Europe longer than I've lived in the United States. So here's some pictures of me in Europe. It's not for views. It's my life, and it's actually a very important part of my life because I speak fluently Russian and French. So
I know I shouldn't get mad about stupid comments like this, but something about my culture, where I used to live, is kind of upsetting because it's who I am. Like, it's who I am. So next time you think about commenting about someone's personal life that you don't know, I would reconsider, because you don't know people online.
How ironic. So ironic.
I got a message from someone who saw my hurtful video. They said that my apology only affected me and my preservation of how I look online, and I couldn't agree more. She gave me suggestions, and although I can't fix or take back what I have said, I can definitely try and diminish the harm that has already been done. She explained how her grandparents and family had died in Auschwitz. She asked if I could make a serious video explaining the things that we saw, the people who died, and the serious things that were happening in that camp. She explained that a lot of people are actually denying that the Holocaust even happened, and because the prisoners didn't have a way to show what was happening, they didn't have cameras, they didn't have a way to get to the public, they actually drew a lot of pictures. We saw that all over the museum. I didn't take any pictures of that, but I'll show some if I can find any on the internet, and it just practically depicts everything that happened in the best way that they could because they didn't have cameras. So that's how they expressed themselves, and that's how we can see closely, or to the best of our ability, what actually happened there. The Dachau camp was used for propagandists, so they only took pictures, videos of the things that looked good. That's why the camp looked put together. There was nice trees. It looked like a nice place, but it was only for propaganda purposes. Another thing that I didn't video because it was very brutal and something that I wouldn't want to show on the internet was how they would torture prisoners. I was very surprised that we actually got to see pictures of that because, again, the Germans only took pictures for, you know, promoting the camp, showing all the good things that they were supposedly doing in the camp. Although I don't know specific people's names, and there are so many people that died in a brutal, awful way, there were two instances that really stuck out to me while going through the museum. They would tie people's hands in the back of their backs, tie them, and then tie the string up to the ceiling or like a really tall door frame, and they had this in the main building of Dachau, and they would be standing on a chair or some kind of block, and then they would push the chair or the block away. And obviously when your hands are behind your back, it's kind of hard to hold your body up. So in a sense, their arms would go backwards, dislocate, and then go to the front. And it'd be a very slow, painful death because they're sitting there in pain and agony with their shoulders, their backs dislocated, and that was a way that they would torture people. There's another death that really stands out to me when I was going through that place. Was there was this one guy, and to my knowledge what we were told was that this was one of the first deaths in Dachau that was like self-brought. I don't want to say the word, but the S word. This guy found a way to essentially take his life by a string and the bath sink. I don't know how to go into this without being graphic or brutal, but he was so weak, he was so malnourished that by the time he dropped his knees, he couldn't pull himself back up, and he is known as the first person who successfully chose their way out of that camp without it being taken away by the Germans and the Nazis. And it's an awful way that he had to resort to that, but I can't imagine how much strength that took to do. With all that said and done, I can't ever reverse what I said, and I wish I didn't say that. Truly, there's nothing that would explain for my actions. There's truly nothing to excuse or explain why I said that, and I have to take accountability for it. And this is the best way I feel like I can do it, by educating others by how brutal and how awful this time in history was. It's nothing to take lightly, it's nothing to joke about. And if you need to make the situation lighter after going through that and feeling all the emotions and feeling upset, joking is never the way to make light of a situation. If you need to make light of a situation, my biggest recommendation, and something I've been doing recently, is taking a nice warm bath, light a candle, read a book, do something that makes you feel better. Making a joke is never okay, and I'm sorry to everyone who had to hear that, but I hope I can educate people now and work towards myself and just learning. Again, thank you for listening to this video. I hope you got something important from it, and I'm sorry.
Besides her apology video, which is still up on her page, the comments are turned off, her other responses are gone. But I found a little bit of a snippet from another creator who is responding to that video, so let's check that out.
This is truly one of the most wildly offensive things I have ever come across on this application. The crematoriums were not props, they were used to burn the bodies of innocent human beings. I personally have family members who were unalived in concentration camps during World War II, and jokes like this erase the reality of what them and millions of other people went through. Not to mention the fact that filming or even photographing inside the crematorium is strictly forbidden unless given explicit consent from Dachau, which which of course she was not given. It's meant to be a place of mourning and remembrance, not content creation to try to get more followers on TikTok. From there, she goes on to apologize and blame her tour guide.
I made that joke because the tour guide of that camp was making jokes. He said that all the tour people find a way to make light of the situation.
I thought this was common knowledge, maybe it's not, but it is quite literally illegal in Germany to make jokes about the Holocaust. This is the law if you want to read up more about it, but tour guides at Dachau are obviously trained, licensed, and extremely aware of this law, as is everyone in Germany. This is taken so seriously, and they would quite simply never make a joke about this, especially not on the job, because they would lose their job and be prosecuted. It would never happen. Then she comes back yet again with a third video to honor the victims and their families through education. She's going to educate us now.
I was very surprised that we actually got to see pictures of that because, again, the Germans only took pictures for, you know, promoting the camp, showing all the good things that they were supposedly doing in the camp.
Apparently she was too busy creating content to listen while she was at the concentration camp, because it wasn't the Germans, it was the Nazis. Saying the Germans unfairly blames all German people and erases the fact that the Holocaust was carried out by a political regime and its supporters. Not all Germans were Nazis, some were victims and some actively resisted. Here's a photo from the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum of my great uncle Franz right here. He is German. He is on trial with a group of fellow resistance members for attempting to assassinate Hitler. Precision and accuracy matters when we talk about history, especially about atrocities like this. When you visit a place like Dachau, you have a responsibility to treat it with respect. This is history. It is not a joke. Please do not support content creators like this.
Yeah, I don't care how many apology videos you post, because at the end of the day, you chose to film at a concentration camp, went home and did a voiceover, made edits, and then posted it. And your excuse for this is that your concentration camp tour guide supposedly made this joke?
The tour guide of that camp was making jokes.
This isn't some sort of innocent mistake. This is absolutely depraved behavior.
I'm not a big creator, so I don't have a lot of media training, so I simply just want to come on here and apologize.
Hey girl, I just wanted to offer a quick tip. I know I'm a smaller content creator than you, but it seems like I have a little bit more media literacy. You don't need formal media training to know that you don't go to a concentration camp, vlog your footage, and then make jokes about how the dust on the crematorium floor is, quote, a paid actor. You shouldn't have to have any media training or literacy whatsoever, as I'm pretty certain most of those places in Europe have explicit instructions on where is and is not allowed photography and videography based on just being respectful to the victims of the big topic that you chose to post about. But anyways, just wanted to give you that tip for free. Love and blessings. Have fun on the apology tour.
Her in the blue shirt, that video, that must have been the first apology video. And also for her to say, I don't have any media training, so I just want to come on here and apologize. You don't need to have media training to be a good person. And you don't have to have media training to be a hypocrite. This is the perfect case of when someone shows you who they truly are, believe them, okay? Sometimes we just have feelings about people where you can't pinpoint why you're not comfortable in their spaces, why you're not comfortable talking to them, something's just off. That's your sign to believe your gut instinct. If there's anything I've learned in my 20s, that's number one. But also too, we should take that a step further and look at that with other things in media or in workplaces. If you feel unsafe or if you feel uncomfortable, just don't forget that. She claims that the tour guide was making jokes too, which I don't know, I highly doubt it. I think she's just blaming the tour guide. But also, if they were, that still doesn't give you the right to make fun of them too. And also too, it's kind of like when someone in a different ethnicity than you makes fun of their people or themselves, that doesn't give you the right to do it. Okay? Or if someone you know made fun of themselves, you're not allowed to make the same joke. That does not give you the right to do it too. Or like how if someone has a nickname and everyone calls them that nickname, maybe they don't want you to call them that nickname. And the last crazy part, I saw another one of her videos responding to a creator who said a list of creators that I don't like anymore and I unfollowed.
Get ready with me while I tell you a list of content creators I used to like and follow here on TikTok that I can no longer stand or follow.
Okay, let's talk about the weird thing we do when we can't stand an influencer but still know every single detail about their life. Let me get this straight. You unfollow them because you don't support them anymore, yet you're in every single snark group and watching every story from your burner and posting, does anyone notice, on every single video about them? Because here's what's actually happening. You're not just checking in. You're obsessed, and not in a fan way, in a weird, dark way where you're actually getting dopamine hits from finding things to criticize. You see what she did? Can you believe she bought that? Her kids did this? And what kills me is that you're sitting there, probably with your own kids in the background, teaching them that that is how you treat women and people. These people are actually creating entertainment out of tearing other women and other people down while preaching about women supporting women in their bios, or a girl's girl. And the wildest part about all of this, that was not the wildest part. This wildest part. These influencers we're all done with probably aren't thinking about you. They're probably out living their life while you're out analyzing their every single move like it's your job. You're out here making whole pages and group chats dedicated to people you hate watching. And don't come with me, but they deserve it. No, the second you're tracking someone's every single move that you claim to dislike, that's not critique anymore, that's obsession. We have somehow convinced ourselves that the moment someone puts their life online, we get to be cruel under the guise of holding them accountable. Like, when did we get so comfortable actively admitting that we are following every single move of someone that we despise? Please tell me when that became normal. I haven't followed her in months, but did you see she posted 20 minutes ago? Do you hear yourself? Maybe instead of spending hours dissecting some stranger's life, we can ask ourselves why we're so invested in someone we dislike so much. Because of that line of critique and obsession, because it's not just thin anymore. At this point, it's invisible.
I honestly think that came full circle. And you know what? This lady, Meile, sorry, I don't know your name, but you are a new mom. I think you should focus on doing that. I don't know. I mean, she's done posting for now. I'm surprised that everything is still up. I'm surprised that her apology video is still up, but that is bad. She's one of those people where I think she could still probably have a following if she deleted everything and rebranded and stuff, but I don't know if I would want her to do that. That's just me as an audience. And of course, while editing, I found an account. Shout out to Kalu2. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but this TikTok account has found a new profile that Meile had created. I have a feeling that she thinks people are not going to find out about her racist past or her insensitive past, what have you, but it is pretty ironic that you were upset people were making fun of your culture in a place where you used to live, and you have the audacity to make that video about the concentration camp. Making fun of people who were persecuted just because of what they believe in, who they are, their ethnicity, and then making a joke out of it. This is a historical event. Visiting those places, I would never imagine doing a voiceover and making jokes about that. It's an important piece of history. What if she did that on a plantation too, which now at this point I wouldn't be surprised. But do you know what I mean? That's it for today's shorter video. What do y'all think about this whole situation? Do you feel like she should get off of social media? What is going on? Peekaboo. Excuse me. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you feel like she should delete that video, her apology video? Do you feel like she should keep it up? Do you think she should delete her account altogether? What about her account with her husband? Let me know in the comment section down below. And also too, let me know if you visited any of the Holocaust museums or have been to a concentration camp. That's something that is on my list. I want to see it for sure. I've been to the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., and it was very good. I love all the museums I went to there. I went to the Native American Indian Museum, and then I also went to the National Museum of African American History, and that was really good too. Have you seen a museum or been to a concentration camp or been to a historical monument or landmark? If you have, or if you have not, let's say in the future you go to one, do you think that a tour guide would make jokes about that? As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, I just appreciate you being here, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!